Sir, come on, you too, come on. Hurry up, come on, you're on the football team, act like it, come on. Are you the guy, are you the slow guy? Come on. All right, hey guys, thanks for coming out. We're going to talk about chainsaws, medical for chainsaws, all the equipment that goes with chainsaws, a little bit of wood processing, what to do with the wood. This is Chris Watkins, this is his son Nate, and they run this equipment for a living. They do a lot of storm cleanup and all kinds of stuff. So that's the dude. A lot of you guys have saws, I know. I've got some electric saws, I've got gas saws. I'm sure that some of you guys have some stuff to add. I'm sure everybody has something to add. This is the first time we've done this. Just thought we would put it together and show you what all the equipment is. Some of this equipment obviously you're not going to have. I know a lot of guys, there's a lot of talk about turning wood chips into soil. I spent a lot of money and weeks worth of time running trees through wood chippers, and I was very surprised at the small amount of wood chips. So we've done a lot of that stuff, and he's going to get started and just show you all the equipment. Chuck Peoples has all the medical stuff. If you get hurt or something happens or you fall out, whatever, that seems to happen frequently. Not the hurt part, the fallout part. And Chuck will talk about application of tourniquets and a little bit of first aid for these types of wounds. The guys here from the co-op, from the Waverly Co-op are here. They've brought in a bunch of saws and stuff. I don't know if they're available, but maybe you can buy them and they'll talk anything you want about any of those saws that they've got. Our Amsoil dude, he's got some cool stuff over there, some log jacks and some different types of tools and some pictures of chainsaw wounds. So I guess we should probably start with Chuck real quick and just do medical briefing. If you get hurt, this is what we're going to do.
First off, anybody, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to buy, but if you're allergic to bee stings, anything like that, please have your EpiPen on you, all right? I don't want to have to start an IV and do all that crap on you if you do get stung by a bee. So have your EpiPen, just let me know privately. Hydrate today. I know it doesn't feel that hot, but it is hot. You're going to be working and everything, sweating, so make sure you've eaten, make sure if you do get hurt, see, I don't care what it is, how minor, come see me, we'll take care of it. If there is a major injury, everybody back off, let me get in there. I'll ask for assistance or anything like that. We'll coordinate getting anybody transported out that needs to be, all right? Any questions? All right.
All right. Chris, show us what you do.
My name is Chris Watkins. I do line clearance, tree trimming, and removal. I've been doing it for almost 17 years. Been on several major storms from New England all the way down to Louisiana and Texas. I do a lot of residential work as well, and we do any kind of, mostly all cleanup. What I'm going to do today is hopefully the things that I know and I can show you that maybe you don't know. Y'all might show me something I don't know. But in this job, in this field, you learn something every day. You don't never stop learning anything in this field. So hopefully today we can show you some chainsaws, show you some techniques, how to cut down a tree. Maybe you already know how to cut down a tree. Maybe the way I show you might be a different way or a better way. So let's go over to the truck and I'll show you some climbing gear, some chainsaws, and some gear.
Any of you guys ever climb tree? Cut? Well, you're not going to today either. Come on.
Do any of you guys own these chainsaws right here? Any of these saws?
Yes.
This right here is a 194 in the tree arborist saw for climbing, or I use it for climbing and mostly and topping trees in a bucket.
What makes it an arbor saw?
Because the top handle saw, a lot of companies now have outlawed these saws. Major, big companies.
Why?
Because people like to do this.
Oh, yeah.
One-handed.
I do that all the time. What's wrong with that?
You do it with the big saw.
Because, yeah, I've seen people do it with big saws, but they do not make a one-handed chainsaw. The only one-handed saw they make is a silky saw or just a hand saw. So you need to keep your hands on the saw at all time, because you could reach up and do this, cut a limb, and it slide down a limb and cut you on the arm, your finger. I watched that. The guy that trained me actually cut his pinky off, cut his finger off doing that.
Dude here missing part of his pinky.
Right. We were doing a job, and he had a 192, but it was a conversion kit with a back handle conversion kit. It was a top handle converted to a rear handle because we weren't allowed to use them with a top handle kit. Well, he one-handed it anyway, and it slid down a limb, cut his finger off. It was just dangling in his glove. So he had to go and have it, and they were able to sew it back on to do laser surgery. But the reason why they don't want, a lot of companies have went away from an arborist saw is because people want to one-hand them.
Did that guy finish the work day?
No, he went home. I finished that day for him.
Pussy. Yeah. All you survivalists.
We use that in a bucket. We use it to climb. I use it. You can use it for whatever you want to. It's really good for small stuff, for pruning and cutting little small brush or whatever. And it's really light. Now this is the 500i, which you guys from Co-op, they know all about this saw. This is one of the new saws that still come out with. It's a fuel injected saw. It only has is a kill switch. That's it. You just pump it up, crank it. I haven't had any issues out of this saw, and it's a good saw. This is our second one we've had, and the first one we had no issues with it, but somebody walked off with it, so we had to get another one, and they're not cheap.
How many cc is that?
70, around 75.
6.8 horsepower.
75,
And,
I think.
I can't remember exactly how many cc.
Yeah, it's in between. It's right there close to a 661. It's only just a few cc's lower than a 661 MS 661 steel.
Okay.
But this all weighs about a pound lighter than a 661 steel, so the power to weight ratio is way better. So if you're somebody that's out in the woods cutting timber and cutting and topping at the same time, I'd rather carry a 1.5 pound lighter saw that I can cut the same size wood than I could with a heavier saw, because you're going to be less fatigued. And this all comes with this one. We have this with a 25-inch steel bar, which they make a steel light bar, which will make it lighter. This is just a regular steel Rollomatic.
Does it come with those dogs on it like that?
Yes, these dogs, yes. I don't like these dogs myself. I like a bigger dogs. I just haven't replaced them and put the bigger ones on there yet. And this thing loves to cut big wood. They're really good saws. It's the first fuel injected saw I've ever run, which it was the only one that they come out with. I think Husqvarna may have come out with one now. I haven't tried it. I don't know how good it is. This is a really good saw if you need a big saw. But I don't know how many people here really need a saw that's going to run up to a 36-inch bar. So I don't, so we'll talk about that later. And this is a MS-271. This is not a professional saw. This is what they call an MS-271 farm boss, right?
Right.
And it'll run up to a 20-inch bar. And it's a really good all-around saw, and it's not that expensive, really, for the saw you get compared to this next saw I'm going to show you. This saw right here you can get for around about $400, I think. You never run
Higher
up
than
to.
that now.
They're probably higher than that. When I bought this saw, it was only $350, so that's 3 years ago. But I've been running this saw like this for the last 8 years. And they cut just as good as professional saw, to me. And they're a lot cheaper, probably $200 or more cheaper, depending on where you are, where you live, your taxes, and all that. But it'll run up to a 20-inch bar. Usually 20-inch bars don't cut anything most homeowners want to cut.
How small, you say up to 20, how small a bar can you go down to?
I believe you can go down to a 16
Yeah, 16.
on these saws. I mean, if you modify them and you probably run whatever you want to on them, probably go up bigger than a 20-inch bar. But all these saws right here are stock saws. They come straight from the saw shop stock. We haven't done anything to them. That for the value, that's a good saw, and I recommend any homeowner having that one with at least a 16 or 18-inch bar. And if you need to go bigger, you get a 20-inch bar for cutting firewood, bigger firewood. But it will cut down. I've used it to cut a lot of big trees down up to probably 36 inches with a 20. You can get up to almost 40 inches with a 20-inch bar. But I've cut a lot of stuff down just because I wanted to see what it would do, and it works really good. Now this saw is a 261. Now this is a professional saw. It's a really good saw. When they come out with this saw right here, this 261, to me it's expensive. I mean, it looks the same size as this 271, but this saw right here, I'll cut that one a lot faster. It's a fast saw. And I wouldn't think I would like it because they used to make a 260 that was professional saw, and I didn't care for it. It went fast enough. It seemed like you were spending $500 or $600 on a saw that was a medium saw that should have cut faster, and it didn't, to me. But when they come out with this saw, they did really good. Still did really good on this saw. I use it a lot now. I don't use that one as much. This is my go-to medium-sized saw for cutting brush or cutting anything within that range of 20 to 25, 30 inches, cutting up or whatever, because it just cuts so fast, to me, for a small saw. But this saw right here run you about $699 or $700 for a medium saw, for a medium-sized professional saw. And to me, if I'm gonna be doing it professionally every day, it's worth it to me to get that saw, because you're not gonna, it's got the power, and it works really good. Does anybody have any questions about these saws?
Are those all the saws you carry on the truck?
Yes.
Carry anything else?
Blower. This is what we run every day.
If you're gonna own only one of these for a dude with like 10 acres of property, or homeowner, which one would you have?
I would go with this saw right here.
Come on, look at the 500. Do it again.
500, I know, right? They're fun, but I mean, you're not gonna want to run that saw every day. You're going out and cutting little bitty stuff. I mean, I'd run that saw. I'd rather run this saw all day, or a 170. Was it 171 now? A 171, which he's got over on the table. I think you got one on the table.
Still make a 170. It's the best saw for the money.
Right, and they are really good saws. I used to use one then when I worked for a big company, because they wouldn't run these saws. We had to use them to climb with, and they're a really good saw, and they're cheap.
If you're going to be cutting wood all day, having one saw is going to wear you out, as opposed to having a bucking saw and a lemon saw.
Right, you really and truly, if you're going to be limbing and bucking, you can go down through and limb with this saw, but you're going to be doing this. You're going to be bending over a lot. I'd rather either go with this saw right here or this saw right here, because I can, with a 20-inch bar, 18-inch bar, because you're not going to be bending over, and your lower back's not going to be bothering you as bad, and they're not that heavy. That saw's lighter, but you're going to be wanting to do this all day. It's up to you. But the main thing is to keep your saw sharp. So once you get it dull, you're going to be killing yourself. And if you don't know how to sharpen it,
he's going to show you.
We'll go over that on how to sharpen one. Now me personally, like Mike, he's got a mechanical sharpener. That's a grinder. I've never even used a grinder. I've always hand filed everything. That's what I learned on, and that's what I've done. Because I'm gonna be out, and I don't want to keep 4 or 5 sharp chains on me when I got one really good chain, unless I break a tooth. Hit something in a tree, and just completely break the chain or break the teeth off of it. I've had that happen, so we had to go get it. You go to the truck and get another chain. But if you're out in the woods, so you're gonna go out in the woods. You're out there, and you're just cutting firewood. You're not going to take that chain off and swap another chain on it, because you hit the dirt 4 or 5 times with that saw. So I want to be able to just file it and then go on.
Do you just have a dude that you carry with you that just sharpens your chains?
Me?
Yeah.
No, me.
Is there a rhyme or reason to knowing if it's professional or homeowner by the number, or
officially?
On the steels, because they say MS,
okay.
I have no, because like this one says MS 271. But they usually tell you when you go into a shop and buy one, they're going to tell you it's going to have professional on it. You'll know by the price most of the time. But like a Husqvarna, it's going to say XP.
Okay.
XP means professional on Husqvarna.
But there's no equivalent with this. You just
Right. Now used to put Pro on top of the covers, the old one. Like a 260 would have a Pro on, had 260 Pro, where they don't no more. They don't put Pro on it.
Much more expensive than the homeowner.
Like this saw right here.
You're not gonna
This
rely
is
on the homeowner.
this saw right here. It's not the smallest saw they make. See, I think Steel makes a 150 now.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
little
they do.
because Echo come out with a saw that was the lightest saw in the industry. It's like, but really,
They're
like,
trying to hit the carving market with that small 150.
right.
People that does the carvings,
Yeah.
the animals and stuff.
But they're really good for climbing. But you're not gonna cut bigger than 8-inch stuff probably with it without having doing something to
I
it.
think it's got a 12-inch bar.
Yeah, it's only got 12-inch bar. So if you're just doing a lot of pruning, that'd be a good saw. And it's really light. But they're not that much cheaper than that saw. They're actually probably more
I think
expensive.
they were a little higher than the 194.
Right. But they make a 201.
I don't even keep them in stock.
Now this saw right here is kind of in the middle for price range. This saw here run you about 400, probably more now.
Yeah, it's about that.
450, depending on where you buy it. For the bang, if you're not going to be doing a whole bunch of big cutting, to me, because you can buy these, and if you don't like the tie panel style and you're not going to be climbing with one, you can get a backhand. You can get them with a backhand conversion, and they're really light. So you can, when y'all come and pick them up, y'all want to in a little bit and feel the difference in the weights of these saws. But I would, me, this saw right here be good for. I know it's an arborist saw, they say, but it's good for just doing any kind of pruning or anything around your property. You're not going to be cutting something big.
Sit right on the front of the four-wheeler.
Exactly. You can put it on your four-wheeler, your side-by-side, whatever. You don't, or you can get a 170, just whatever you prefer. And then what your price range is. I mean, if you want to go spend $1,000 on a saw, go spend $1,000 on a saw, or spend $1,000 and get 3 saws, whatever you want to do. That's me. I think I'd rather have the 3 saws instead of have $1,000 saw. Because this one saw right here will cost you $1,800. Because it's, well, you're paying, and it's worth it. But it's hard to spend $1,800 on a chainsaw if you're not going out and cutting and making money with it. Now, if you're just going to be doing stuff around your property, I don't think you want to spend $1,800 on a chainsaw unless you just want to have a badass chainsaw. But they're really good saws. And there's a lot of people coming out now that are modifying these saws.
There's a whole aftermarket. You can change the color on them. You can do all kinds of shit to them. They're like a Lego now.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They have whole companies just building parts for saws that they don't make.
Yeah, there's a place in Pennsylvania that's really done a real good job for these guys that are doing. And I really wanted to get one, but I just didn't want to spend the money. And it's when I said $1,800 for a stock saw, it's like $2,500 for one of those. Same saw, but they're bad.
How come all steel, not Husqvarna? Just Ford, Chevy.
I like them both, but we got a lot of steel dealers where we are.
Okay. So
and I've been running. I know.
It's mostly steel though too, right?
Yeah, a lot of.
It's probably what 90% steel.
Steel
for the industry.
And right now, all your like y'all do Husky and steel, right?
Yeah.
Where do you have the hardest part? What do you have the hardest time getting parts for, Husky or steel?
In the last couple of years, it's been a little bit of both, probably more Husqvarna.
Well, I know since the Kufa stuff hit, we had a lot of trouble with everything, but.
Point of origin on the parts, China?
More issues getting parts maybe overall with Husqvarna than you do steel.
Right. Well, what's the reason why?
What's the real reason?
The same reason they've always used is COVID.
Right.
Is what they use as an excuse.
Right, but I mean.
The actual reason,
yeah.
Who knows?
Are the parts originating from China? Is that where you think they're coming from?
No, I don't think so. That's not what's on
Husqvarna, most of their stuff comes from Sweden.
Where theirs is made.
Sweden.
Finland, I've seen some stuff says Finland.
So they're
Steel's in Germany.
The main Echo.
I don't deal with them very much.
I don't even
Honestly,
remember.
I think the biggest thing is having a local dealer.
Right.
You know, don't drive 3 hours because you have to have a steel. If you don't have a steel dealer, but you might have an Echo dealer. And don't
any
buy
of those
from the
saws are
box
good.
store.
Any of those saws are
If you're
good.
going to go to Lowe's or whatever
Right.
and try to buy a saw and then your saw is messed up, you ain't going to take it back to Lowe's and get it repaired.
No.
You know, if you take it to your local dealer or you need chains or chain sharpeners,
Right.
the dealers are going to have the chain sharpener there where they put it on the machine, the grinder or whatever, if you can't do it yourself. So,
Right. Yeah. You can. Yeah. It's your shops, your local saw shops. Like I'm sure y'all offer that. Yeah. They offer. Go in. They'll grind them for you and whatever.
You can go to Lowe's and get that 455, 460 Rancher Husqvarna, and it looks like these saws, but they're not the same.
They're not the same
thing, man.
Now the 455, they are a good saw, pretty good. I've run one a couple of times, and they seem to, for a consumer saw, it seemed to be okay to me. It cut pretty good for the power, but I don't know how long they last. I've never had a 271, and I haven't had the 271s go down on me in the 7 years. I've had to put sprockets on them, but I haven't had one like blow up.
Right.
Maybe because we run our way we run our mix.
Bars?
Yeah, I've been bars. Had the tips come apart. Yeah, you get in a hurry. And this is the thing: you get in a hurry, not paying attention to what you're doing, and you're not paying attention to when you're cutting a tree down and you'll hang one. They don't crush it. It just, why you always gotta be safe. Watch what's going on. and just pay attention to your surroundings when you're doing that. But yeah, I've bent bars. I've about run over a chainsaw a few times. But, you know,
You do that one-handed thing where you just hold the saw and you drop it and it starts?
Nah. No, I haven't. But when I was on storm work, I had a utility come out of Middle Tennessee. He said, and I was carrying this saw right here. He goes, "Hey man, can you pull that cord out and will it crank it?" So I don't know. I ain't tried it, but I watched Wrangler Star do it. He said, and he goes, "Oh, y'all seen that too?" So I said, well, "Let's try it right quick." I thought we was on the side of the road, wasn't we, walking back from cutting up a tree? And he goes, I pulled the cord out. I said, "Here, pull it all the way out as far as you can." And he dropped it. He went, and he just dropped it. He said, "Man," he was upset. He kept watching the video over and over. I said, "You figure it out?" He said, "Man, I don't know what we did wrong." I said, "I don't know." So he kept watching the video over and over. And I said, "Watch it again." He said, "I'm gonna cut." And then when he grabbed the remote or his phone and cut the sound off, he was heartbroken. He really thought that saw was gonna crank when he dropped the cord in. I was just, and it was about 10. It's me and us there as it is now. These linemen fixing these power lines, and he was walked off. It was funny, so everybody laughed. But yeah, it don't work.
People ask me if I seen.
But anyway.
There's a lot of things you can do with video that aren't in real time, right?
Right. Yeah.
You see the basketball shots where they throw from amazing, it spins.
Right.
Like,
Now,
dude,
sometimes
that's
I
not
wonder.
That
But,
thing called
yeah.
editing.
I pulled it all the way out and let it go back in.
Anyway.
The old man saw that they make, the soft pull saw, that'll
Oh,
do
yeah.
it.
That
You
180?
If you just lift it up and let it go, it'll start it.
Easy start. You can't.
It's
Yeah,
an
it's
easy
easy
start
start,
one.
yeah.
The old man saw will do it.
Yeah.
Do they make multiple models of those?
I don't
think
know.
they just make one
Three.
model deal.
They just make a Scully. Is it just a Scully model?
180,
Well,
211, and 251.
I bought it because they talked me into it. They're like, "Hey, we got this soft start old man one."
I might look old. I'm not that old. Come on.
Yeah, I bought it.
If you got shoulder problems, rotator cuff injury, or something, then you can still start one.
Yeah.
The problem I have with it is I still want to start it like an old chainsaw, so I'm still like going, and then it's like, fuck
Rip
you.
your arm off.
I'm not starting. And then when you let go, the string comes in and it'll just go. Blah, blah, blah. It'll
Do you ever see any real crews show up with electric stuff?
I haven't yet. Not where this type of work we're doing. I've seen a lot of people going to battery operated climbing saws
I can see that, yeah.
because if they're not doing like big stuff, I think they go up and limb them out and then they'll swap over to a gas saw, big gas saw or something like that.
Have you used any electric stuff?
I have used that electric chainsaw. I have not used any of the new battery powered stuff.
Are you still sold on the electric saws?
I mean, you saw what we did with the DeWalt over at the church.
We did 2 acres. The company came in and fell all the trees, limbed them, and we cut up all the brush and dragged it back over here and spent 10 days probably with a chipper running brush through it and making wood chips. And he showed up with that 40 volt DeWalt, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way. Because we had gas saws. He's like, you'll see. And he did. He outcut us like the whole fucking time. He had probably 6 batteries with him.
Right.
And just and it had a built-in chain sharpener on that thing.
No, I just ran that chain till it wouldn't cut anything anymore.
Oregon has one that's
Oregon does make
self-sharpened
one.
chain.
Yeah. Oregon makes a battery and a with a
You just pull back on it.
electric. Yeah. It's
It's a battery 40 volts.
yeah. And they also make one that's you hook extension cord to.
What about those things where you see in the ad where it's like it's a round thing and you just stick the nose in it? It's supposed to sharpen.
I have no idea. I've looked at some of that and I've seen a.
That's Oregon's power sharp.
Yeah, that's Oregon
Set
sharp.
up.
Some people
Special
like
bar-
them.
Yeah, it works, but you got to have a special bar chain
Yep, that's
for your
where
saw.
you
You
get
can't
in.
just use regular chain. Stick it in there.
Where you sharpen this, where you sharpen the regular
Because it
on
would
the bottom,
it's
it's like that, but they're sharper on the top.
Yeah.
I think it's an 18-inch.
And that's why their new style come out. It's got a little button you push, and it actually sharpens it inside the
While you're running it, you
Yeah.
just hit the button while you're holding it open and it sharpens the chain.
Yeah, you don't have to push the nose or
That's
nothing.
a design flaw to the wall. There's like a
No, it's still running
5,000 videos I need to
clockwise.
No, it's running clockwise.
Yeah, it always leaks.
Yeah, they're still running the same clockwise direction.
But I bought the.
There's a stone in there, when you push the lever down, that stone just comes down and touches that chain on top, and it sharpens it as it turns.
Right. So you get into which the Oregon they dig. I seen that at the
That's
South Side.
homeowner stuff. It's
Yeah, it's
not
homeowner.
commercial.
It's not commercial.
And then
But they, I mean, you can get the battery powered commercial. They do Husky and Steel make a battery powered commercial top handle saw like this.
Time you get the battery and charger with it, you're looking at $1,000.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Just the saw and stuff.
Well, okay. And so,
Anyway.
All right, so once you buy the saw, what do you need to buy with the saw?
What you need to buy with the saw? Or for one, you don't want a pair of these.
Do you put those on every time you saw?
Gas one.
For real, you do?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 99% of the time I do. Well, 100% of the time because I've seen people get cut. Well, I've seen my buddy cut his finger off. So.
Does everybody here own a chainsaw?
Yes.
Does everybody own one? Everybody own a pair of
chaps
these?
on every time you saw?
No. Never chaps.
I started after you see the picture that I have. I grew up sawing.
Right.
I don't need that shit. Be careful.
Right. I have a lot of family members that were in the logging industry, and I've heard horror stories.
Yeah.
I got a cousin I talk to every day. He works on a sawmill now, but he about cut all this. He had a saw kicked back and it ripped all that out of his finger. He just barely bent his finger now. It's been 20 years since he done
Don't
it.
they make some chain that's supposed to be really good, but it doesn't kick? It's not safe or something?
They make some. Right. But they like a lot of your
Reduced
we'll pull up
kickback
to there with that.
chain.
It's like right here. This is a reduced kickback chain. It's got you got your main drag here. Then this is right here. This is a step up in front. You see how it's offset?
Yes. Yep.
And that's a reduced kickback. But I think they make some now that are even more aggressive on the reduced kickback. I'm not for sure. You'd have to ask
So-
Well, they
them
don't
right
make
there.
that. Some of them don't have that reduced kickback in it.
Right. I'll show
And that's
you.
a more
we're gonna
aggressive
I'll
chain?
show you.
Yeah, it cuts fast.
But it's not as safe.
Right.
Okay.
That's this one.
Not
Like
a
this one right here. This is a professional chain. You can see the difference. See how it's just got the raker, the one raker. It don't have
Yes.
no step up. That's it. That's what's going to judge the depth of your tooth's cut.
Do you use a certain brand of chain on all your stuff?
I usually use steel in Oregon.
Do you buy already pre-hooped chains, or do you buy like a case of chain, a box of chain?
I just get it. I just order them by individual chain.
Shops do not like it when you come in with your own chain. You're like, hey, will you make these chains?
Well, now you can buy when I worked for another company a long time ago, we used to break our own chain. We buy it in the rolls, the rolls, and we'd run out the links and we'd break them down and put them back together and stuff. It's cheaper. It's a lot more cheaper if you're going to be going through a lot of chain. I think it was like $300 a roll for whatever size or more now, probably. Depending on what brand you get.
The price got so high on a roll at our shop, it's almost cheaper. We can sell you the chain as cheaper
Right.
in a loop already.
And
now.
we can.
Some people still buy a roll though.
Yeah,
Do it
a lot of your loggers do, or
Loggers do.
big companies. They'll still buy it by the roll and they'll just break it down and get the chain break and the dies and break them down and and put them back together. Break off what they need and do it up. And if I was going through that many chains, or if we were running 15 or 20 trucks, yeah, I'd probably do that. But with what we're still kind of small, so we don't do that. I just
How
go
often do you have to sharpen, like on a normal day where you're running full out, how often do you have to go down and sharpen chain?
Well, normally you want to touch your chain up every tank.
Every what?
Every tank of gas.
Every chain.
Right. But you might not even get through a tank. You might hit a rock or something, a piece of metal. Normally, if I'm running the big saw, and it depends on what kind of wood you're cutting. You're cutting hickory or locust or dead wood. Dead wood, you're going to have to sharpen it every time you run out. Or
Bodock.
Huh? Bodock, yeah. Locust, bodock, hickory. Those really hard woods are going to beat your chain to death. And you're definitely going to have to sharpen your saw. And also, like when pine, the bark on pine holds a lot of dirt, grime inside the bark. You wouldn't think of it, but it does. And it'll dull us off fast. You'll get it cut down, and you start cutting up, and that bark, it just holds a lot of crap. And it just dulls the chain fast. It does to me. And which everybody should know that a dead wood is going to dull a chain fast. Depending on what, and you're cutting locusts, dead locusts. Sorry, 'cause it's just even with the chains sharp, it's still going to be pretty.
Now, though, man.
Right, it's
Put
just
it in
gonna,
right now.
Real quick on the chaps. Been a paramedic 29 years. Civilian wise, I've put tourniquets on people, real life tourniquets, everything, on people who've cut themselves with chainsaws, home accidents, stuff like that, than I ever have for gunshot wounds, stabbing, stuff like that. You're more likely to injure yourself. And you would think, I have chainsaws. Do I own a pair of chaps? No. And I should. You'd think I would learn because I've seen the injuries. Mike has got a great picture of a chainsaw injury, and if you look at the picture real quick, the chain will dig into your skin and it just eats flesh.
hamburger.
Yeah, it turns into hamburger, and you can actually see it in one of the pictures he has. So invest in the safety equipment. I mean, honestly, that and eye pro. Have eye protection, because I've cleaned more eye injuries and stuff from things like this, people just doing, usual yard work, whatever, using chainsaws or even, string trimmers, stuff like that. Something pops back in their eye. So I mean, those are the two. But I would definitely get a pair of chaps, because I've pronounced 2 people dead who bled out from a chainsaw injury, who lived kind of in a rural area there by themselves. If they'd had a tourniquet, they'd have been here at this class today.
Are there companies making better chaps?
Yes. Now this is not like what you would. I mean, they're good chaps.
Who makes that?
This is like a Forester brand, I think.
Are there different types of chaps for different?
Yeah, this is an apron style, which is just when you put it on. And then Mike's got another pair that's a little different, but these are just apron style. You just put them on and you buckle them up.
Okay.
And then he's got some that you can buy chainsaw pants, like a regular pants you put on.
Okay.
And shirts and everything.
Something
It's
like
long
Bill
sleeve.
overall.
And they got bibbed overalls.
The thing with what they're supposed to do is it doesn't. It's not going to prevent it from cutting it, but what it does is it binds up and it stops the saw from running.
We're gonna do a demonstration later. I got an old pair in there. They're kind of rough.
Do you use the pocket on there for anything?
Yeah, I put my saw wrench in there most of the time. But
Would
these
you
are
rather
not.
have more pockets?
Huh?
Would you rather have more pockets?
This. Well, it depends on the style, but like these are just apron style.
Would you like to have Molly all over it?
Yeah.
Would you like to have multi-cam black ones?
Sure.
Would you like it to be multi-cam black or?
And one that you can attach, I don't know, med kit.
You probably would.
Stop filming all this other bullshit.
You would. Me, I like to have a pouch on both sides. I like to have one, but I like to have them a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
You know, y'all know too, because these are not. Your saw wrench barely fits in there.
Steel and Husqvarna makes them too.
But
some
yeah,
of
Steel.
them have pockets, some don't.
Right. It depends how much money you want to spend. You can spend anywhere from $100 to $200. Hell, even the chainsaw pants are $300
Yep.
or more.
When you hit them, you can reuse them.
No. No, you're not supposed to reuse them. I got a pair that they haven't been hit with a saw, but they're ripped. Somebody ripped them. But no, they're old pair, but I want to use them to do a demonstration.
They get dirty, they don't work.
Right.
$300 is a lot cheaper than
Hell yeah! I mean, $500, $1,000.
How much is the testicle worth?
Then you're gonna give yourself.
I know. I think you need like a catcher, you know.
I like it.
Probably. Yeah.
15 staples. And I like that.
That's popular.
I didn't know what that white tip on the top. I didn't know what that meant. I just figured it out like 6
I've
months
never
ago.
washed it before. I do know once they get saturated, they don't work like they should.
Well, they say to wash them first before you use them,
Yeah,
because it makes the Kevlar expand.
right.
Right now, on what I read the instructions is that when you buy a new pair of chaps, I've never done it, but they say if you wash them, then it will expand the Kevlar in them and make them even better. I never knew that.
Make it better?
That's what it says. It makes the Kevlar open up better. I'm gonna take a side cover off one of these. I think we'll have to use that other one because then we'll put show an open bar on the side. We'll cut a pair later. No, you want to wear them? Okay.
Okay, so what? Can I just use goggles?
I'd use any, if it's ANSI certified, I'd use it. Whether it's goggles or, I mean, unless you're going to wear, now if you're doing overhead cutting, you need to wear a hard hat or something, a head protection. You can buy a, I didn't bring it with me. They're not much. I think I bought 4 or 5 of these hard hats that had the visor, earmuffs, and everything. And it was only like $50 for the whole thing.
Do you always wear ear pro?
I just put a foam in or earbuds.
I spent 35 years in the military.
What about electronic ear pro with radio?
And you know, not wearing hearing protection. And I work with a lot of people in the lawn mowing business, and I see them all the time. They've got their music on or whatever, or any of those noise canceling. That's even worse because it's false sense of security. It's not canceling the noise; it's canceling what you hear. It's not protecting your hearing. So. Definitely wear hearing protection, any kind of power equipment, because you'll thank yourself later when you're not, you know, your wife's not saying, turn the fucking TV down.
So what would you recommend?
The throwaway, anything that's rated for noise canceling, you like whatever that highest amount you can.
So like Pelters and Comtacs, actual tactical ear pro stuff will work?
I don't know about tactical stuff at all. I don't know.
Looks cool.
But I like and even if you could double that, I mean, you could put the foam ones in with the things over top, that's even better, you know. I mean, the more you can stop it out.
I want to muffle that sound down, because you need to be at least, you know, it's 85 decibels, I believe, if I'm correct. It used to be. It's 85 decibels, 8 hours a day will take your
I have
hearing.
a solution where you can actually talk to each other. So Surefire makes an insert, and then you can put electronic ear pro.
Oh, you can
and
buy
it'll
all
muffle
kinds.
out
Steel makes all kinds of stuff.
Certain pitch, and then I can hear you talk.
Right. And a lot of companies
Scully
are going
knows
to
more
those.
about it than I do. But
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to get some of that 3M money.
I'm getting a fighter on O2 faceplate so that I got fresh air.
Yeah, I've used pill tours before. They work.
Yeah, depending on what
They get hot.
they do get hot in the summertime. But they're
So
good in
do
the winter.
you use the net thing, the mesh thing?
I don't like it.
I put a picture up when I was doing this on Instagram, and a bunch of saw pros jumped all over my shit.
I knew that was. When I seen it come up.
I just had
"John's gonna
goggles
get
on,
up."
and they didn't catch the fact that when I changed the color of the saw, I changed the color of the goggles. It was
Right.
really
We had that conversation.
Yeah, I've always worn just dirt bike goggles.
People get, they get pretty. People don't wear it like no
young guys,
PPE.
same
Stuff
But I
like
invited
that.
him out. I don't think he's here though.
Well, whatever.
we all get caught up in some bullshit.
You can get hearing protection with communications in them, and all kinds of stuff. If you want to, if you think you need it, get it. If you don't worry about it. I just get some earmuffs and you haul, or some. Gonna roll up.
Most of the big jobs you guys do is just cutting right away to get the power lines back up.
Clear or maintaining.
But you're not chipping all that shit, right? You're just kind of getting it out of the way so they can get the bigger.
Oh, on storm, like if we're doing storm work, no, we don't chip that. We're just getting it out of the way so they can get the lines back up. If we're doing maintenance, like we were to come through here and trim these trees, we trim them, chip the brush.
Why? Like you were here for a year doing Camden, right?
Right.
Why did they have you chip all that shit as opposed to just using a knuckle and picking it up and dumping it in a canyon somewhere?
We probably could have if we would wanted to, but we,
Got it.
you know, we just chip everything.
Got it.
And if it's too big to chip, we just load it. Which they were, I don't remember, but we were just trimming. We weren't taking down.
Got it.
And anything we took down, they would come and get themselves with the grapple. You know, and then there's a lot of times because we don't have a grapple right now.
They're dumping next door here, right? They dump, the city
Yes.
dumps all their stuff.
Right.
There's huge trees. Like you could go over there and pull firewood all day long out of
Right. That's the thing is, if y'all are if you're out around in your area within your county or wherever you live, you see a tree service, you want chips or you want firewood, let them know, they'll bring it. 'Cause
Bribe 'em.
they're gonna get rid of it.
Bribe them. Because there's 20 other dudes that want them too.
Exactly.
You better be the dude they like.
Right.
They won't bring them to
Buy them lunch or something. But
Just hand them a $100 bill. The chip, I'm telling you.
Have you been up to his house?
'cause they want to get rid of the chips. Usually they can't find a place to dump chips. If you want them, ask them. If they're within 10 miles, 15 miles from you, you're gonna get them.
If they come to my house, they only do it once.
Yeah, everybody only comes to your house once.
There's also a service too if you want chips called Chip Drop.
Yeah.
You could go on there and
I'm
sign
not on
up.
there, but yeah.
I've been on Chip Drop for 8 years. They've not been here a single time.
Not me neither. I've not had.
I've been on it 2 years and got one load.
Yeah. It wouldn't take my address.
If you live close to a city, yeah, I'd say you probably get a lot of chips.
Your address it's not recognized.
It didn't work on GPS either.
Oh man.
What about gloves?
Yes.
Always wear gloves?
I don't always wear gloves, but I recommend people wearing gloves, especially when you're sharpening. We'll get to that in a minute.
I didn't know what
So
wedges
on
were.
gloves-
Like, where's the wedges?
They're over there on the other side of the truck. We'll
I
get
don't
that
use
in a minute.
wedges. When the saw gets stuck, I use another saw.
On gloves, does it matter? I mean, gloves.
I got a saw
does that
still in
count
the
as
tree out
gloves?
there.
That's not.
I do. It counts for me because I don't always use leather gloves. I'm swapping it around. I get up.
That's what I said. A bucket of just change.
I do have a bucket of change.
I like the
And you also have remote control.
Yeah.
My dad had a real nice handsaw, and I went over and
Like these.
grabbed it. We were
I
running
just
saw.
$5
And my dad looked
pair
at
and
me and
whatever, something like that's what I use.
he says,
I was wearing leather a
back
lot
immediately.
Did you cut it in wet a lot?
Did like
in the rain.
at home.
Sometimes.
Is that why you
If we have
Do not touch my
They don't.
tools.
I just
My friends in fix up 5-gallon buckets of used chain. One time, I'm like sharpening the
sharpening.
You mask it out of this bucket, you can have that bucket.
They sharpen it.
Out in the woods, the main thing.
They did.
I'd emphasize
Not
helmet.
sharpen.
You're in the
Yeah,
woods.
they sharpen
I
it.
know
Let's drop off 2 or 3
Instead of
of
wood,
them.
make it
No,
wood,
I'm
6
dropping
bucks a
off
piece.
5-gallon buckets.
That's what he told me. I go,
Right.
I'm like, after you guys sharpen these, and he's like,
have the tree
yeah,
fall.
normally people just bring
Some of the
buckets.
limbs come back
I'm
off
like,
another
I'm bringing
tree
you a
and
bucket
get-
because I got like 30 hanging on the
Strap
wall.
the body out.
Does anybody in here own like the hard hats? Whatever you see a traditional hard hat. Does anybody have hard hats? Or you have? He was just talking about this. Like if you're out doing, you got over following a tree, and you got some trees around you. And grab me the orange one and my green one. But the hard hats do make a difference to me. What I prefer a full brim hard hat. Because if you do have a limb, and it's not enormous, if you have one come out, it will deflect because it's a full brim. And with that little brim on it, it will help deflect the limb away from your shoulders.
Skid steer or excavator negates the need for a hard hat.
Exactly. Or tree processor or whatever. So this is just what they call like a bump cap, but it's actually a hard hat. But this one you can put, like this one comes with the visor and the muffs and everything. This is with all that on it was only like $49 for this.
Are the muffs that come with it kind of
They're
chintzy?
janky. They're kind of janky. To me, I didn't like them. I'd rather get some filter or something like that to replace them with. But I mean, until you get those in, I just still use them because it's better than nothing. And this is a full brim. This is what I prefer myself. I've had this for actually it's time for me to replace it. I think they got a shelf life. You got to replace them every so often. Yes, that, and you're not paying attention and whatever. And the suspension will break on them. Yeah, I had my stuff on it, and I had the suspension will break in them. But this is the type I prefer because if you get hit, now I've seen a guy get hit. It's not fun.
You send me videos of dudes getting jerked out of trees every day.
Oh yeah, but to me, is that when that limb hits your hard hat, it's gonna hit it hard. But if it hits that brim, hopefully it'll deflect it away from your shoulders or whatever. And I know it hurts. When I was working when I first started tree work, 16, 17 years ago, we wore this style. This is the style we wore, but it was the same suspension as this. Dude was.
Flip them around.
The guy no, he didn't flip it around. But he went under, we were trimming a power line out, and he went under the tree, and I just cleared the fall zone. He got hit with a piece of wood about that long and about that big around. And he hit him on hit the hard hat so hard, and it was from 30 foot up. It hit the hard hat, and it wasn't full brim, but it hit it so hard that the liner cut his head open. But with it not having the brim, I don't know if it would have made a difference or not, but I want to believe it would. But it just had the front bill, and it come down and hit his shoulder, messed his shoulder up a little bit. So they ended up having to have some shoulder surgery. Luckily, it didn't kill him. When I go over to him, it bleeding like crazy, but it cut his head just enough Yeah, and it was just pouring. You know, it's just a surface. It wasn't there. No, he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital, but they didn't even put stitches in it. But it just, you know, you wouldn't think, because the head wound's gonna bleed pretty hard when it first happens. But
when I was in Puerto Rico for Hurricane Maria's recovery, all the tree cutters, they made them go to full brim hats because they had a couple incidents similar where they'd had full brim, it would deflect it off them because they got shoulder.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They made, matter of fact, they made all the power guys, everybody who was doing any type of work around the trees or doing power line stuff. Everybody had to go to full brim.
These are not that expensive. If you want a full brim, you can get on and order any kind you want. I mean, if you're going to be working around electrical hazards, wear an electrical hazard certified hard hat.
I feel like they should be expensive though. That's. I mean,
well, they do. Oh, you can spend $500.
Oh, okay.
And get some really nice stuff.
Great. Okay. I wasn't being a dick when I said that.
But OSHA will tell you to replace it after one impact.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
It don't matter.
That makes
I mean,
sense.
yes. And like they do have a shelf life. You can buy these, whatever. But I mean, this was $30,
Gotcha.
30 or 40 bucks, and you get a whole new hard hat
Gotcha.
for a little nothing. So they do have a shelf life.
That's the hat and the suspension?
Yes.
Okay.
It comes together. This comes in a separate pack, and you just pop it in there and go.
I always tell people it's less money than the deductible at the emergency room for the insurance.
I prefer to wear at least leather boots or some kind of a boot. But they make chainsaw. I mean, you can same thing. You can buy the Kevlar boots and all that.
Steel toe, no steel toe, doesn't matter.
I don't wear steel toe. I don't like them, and I'm not supposed to wear them when I'm working around power lines. I mean, now you can get the electrical hazard rated stuff now, but I like soft toe because I don't know, but I have, yeah, I do. I don't climb that much anymore, so I don't worry about it too much. If I just need to go up a tree and get it done, I don't worry about it so much. But I prefer to wear at least some type of leather boot. I'm wearing slip-ons today, but usually a lace-up is more appropriate. Having something that's got more support on your ankles and stuff.
Can you leave fuel on these saws, leave them sit in the shed for a year, come back and start them, no problem?
I doubt it. I haven't done it. I wouldn't.
Because today's fuel, no.
No.
What if it's non-ethanol?
If it's in a can, if it's pre-mixed fuel, you probably could. It's more expensive, but it's going to be better fuel for longer, even in your sauce. Yeah.
And use non-ethanol.
Yeah, which these saws are not going to, they don't set
John
sauce?
So you have to mix the gas
pre-mixed. Yeah, I'm buying the can from.
I'm sure someone does. I've seen a chainsaw that's like a Chinese saw.
$24 a gallon for gasoline.
It's easy, man.
You know what?
It's easy.
It's better than doing this all day.
Nobody makes anything like that.
Oh, I got to take the carburetor apart.
Right. It does.
There's a lot of that.
Is that the corn?
Steel makes it more like a weed eater.
Me and Mike had a conversation the other day about ethanol gas, didn't we? Wasn't it?
Yeah. So ethanol. So the problem with ethanol, I thought about bringing it. So whiskey. You think about how alcohol's made. It's distilled from, they distill the ethanol out of whatever the mash, right? So that's what they're doing when they're making ethanol. They're making whiskey, corn whiskey, in giant things, and they're distilling it. Well, alcohol has an affinity to water, and once they combine on a molecular level, they cannot be uncombined unless you distill it back out. So what happens is, especially like a small engine that only has, a couple ounces of fuel, is moisture gets in there through, just in the environment. And gasoline is lighter than water, right? Oil is lighter than water. It's always going to be. So the water settles to the bottom of your fuel tank, and if you have ethanol gas, that ethanol phase separates out and attaches to the water at the molecular level. It can't, and then you can't put something in to get it back out. You have to dump that fuel and use regular fuel. So if you treat your fuel with a stabilizer and you treat your fuel with something that will prevent that phase separation, you won't have a problem. But what happens is once it separates out, you burn off all the gasoline. The only thing that's left is water and pure ethanol, 85, like E85. That's going to make your saw run. It's going to run great for about 5 minutes, and then it's just going to melt down because it's burning so hot. And so, yeah, I stay away from all ethanol if I can on all my small engines. In my cars, I try to too, just because I think it's a stupid product. But cars is not a big deal because you have a larger tank and you don't usually run it all the way down to dry. Whereas you're going to run your saw until it quits, and you're going to fill it back up.
Right.
You know, so you're going to burn that ethanol, and it could ruin your saw.
What do you typically do with your fuel that's no good?
Dump it on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, spray it on the neighbor's lawn. You can treat fence line with it probably. Spray fence with it.
Yeah, I don't. Usually, if it's been in your saw for a while, and just dump it out. If you think it's not good, yeah, just dump it on. I don't dump it on anything I want, but
that's what I was
You've
thinking.
got an oil burner, stove, or heater for your shop. We mix it in with the oil, and it'll burn it. It'll burn the gas, and it might get a little hotter. I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah, I recommend just using non-ethanol gas myself.
I understand using those pre-mixed stuff. I think if you're only going to go through a gallon every 6 months or whatever, yeah, that's okay. But I go through quite a bit more.
Do you buy your non-ethanol just at the pump, or do you get a certain place?
Just at the pump. If I can find it.
Yeah, I bought 2 cans this morning.
Yeah, all of ours is ethanol free.
Yeah.
Co-op?
Yeah, it's all ethanol free fuel.
Awesome.
If I'm in a place that I gotta get ethanol gas, I just I get 89 or get the 89 or higher octane.
Any of you guys kind of local around here? Anybody? They have their co-op's over in Waverly, but they've got an enormous co-op over in Columbia also. And then they also have the co-op here. But if you got a co-op local, some co-ops are better than others. Like their co-op out in Waverly is fucking awesome.
You know, Dixon and Franklin?
Yes.
I think all the co-ops on ethanol that have gas.
If they have fuel, I think they probably are.
Because Montgomery County's the same way.
I don't know that for sure.
Montgomery County's the same way.
Dixon's is all non-ethanol.
No, ours is.
The co-op that in Columbia, they just built out the bypass?
Yeah. Okay, so new store.
Is there any trick to starting these?
I've been there once.
No, I mean there's a good way, a safe way, and a bad way.
I feel like the steel saws are easier to start than
I get that a lot from people that run Husky or Steel.
Like I had to read the instructions. I went to buy a 170 and ended up with a 261.
Right.
Imagine that. And I'm like, how do I? Because I'm used to starting the Husqvarna, and this is missing some stuff.
Right. Which we can do. I can do a demonstration on starting one. If y'all want to do that right quick. And because there is a lot of people want to just drop start them. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
What's drop start?
Drop starting a saw.
Isn't that what Wrangler Star does?
It's just you're taking a saw and
okay.
just drop starting it like this. So if you got somebody that don't have the chain brake on and they're not wearing chaps, so you go and drop start a saw, what's it gonna do? It's gonna rev up when you first get it, and you could do this.
Got it. Okay.
So I recommend somebody put it on the ground, they're putting their foot in there and do it like this, pull it and start it like this, or do a leg lock and between your legs like this and start it like this.
And should you always just rip it the first time, or kind of like?
You can give it a couple little small pulls to get the stuff flowing from to whatever. I used to, like in the wintertime we would do that some. Just give it a few little small pulls.
Does that knock your primer off when you do that?
Do what?
The pre-pull, does that knock your compression release?
No, I haven't. I mean, you're gonna choke it, then you got a half choke, and then when you get it going.
So when you do that a couple of pulls, just short pulls, does that knock your choke off?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You may be asking about a compression release. If it's got
Now the compression release, it might.
It might.
Yeah.
If it's cold weather.
But this saw don't have a pressure release. I don't
Some of them
think.
don't have it. Yeah.
Now this one don't. This one does. I don't use them. No, I like the. I don't ever use them. I just crank it. And they're the bigger saws. Most all your big saws will have them, but I just don't use them. Like, to me, it's like you got to pull on it more when you do the pressure release. You're not getting the compression to get that.
It don't suck the gas up.
Exactly. So I'd rather just pull it a couple hard times and be done instead of doing this, because it's just easier.
Most of the time, though, if the steels don't start 3 or 4 pulls,
Something's wrong.
take it till you get it fixed.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Pull the safety bar back and then you'll be fine.
Right. Do y'all want what Do you have any questions? More questions?
About teaching it to kids.
I don't know. I taught him when he was 16. Started teaching around 16 on a saw, and then.
Any certain.
But I don't. I mean,
smaller stuff.
Yeah, small saws. I started learning on chainsaws when I was about 10.
That's when I started my son, but I had an electric.
Right. I wouldn't.
Smaller electric saw where
it's like
you can still hear me and all that kind of stuff.
Right. It's like teaching them how to shoot or anything. You want to start young and same thing.
Oh, that's what chainsaws
To me, the younger the better, but you want to do it in a safe manner. Have all the safety.
safety.
Right.
Above everything.
You know. What who all in here has cut down a tree?
Wear that out.
You're ready now.
But
I usually don't wear this around
one.
when
Be
you fall.
identical. And this one, the Easy Start has a primer.
All right.
Oh man.
To get the fuel
Let's cut a tree down.
through the carburetor.
Ready?
Yep.
So it doesn't take as many
All right.
pulls to make
We're gonna go cut down some dead trees, or cut down a dead tree or two.
I have 30 or 40 trees we can cut down.
Yeah.
here. It's not one.
I got a 170.
Now usually when cause I look like I whenever I look at his trees and they're all funky looking, what we'll probably do is I'll probably throw a rope in them so we'll just make it safe. Next time I'm gonna show y'all too, because you might need to do this one day.
You were going to talk about wedges? You going to do that over there?
Yeah, we can do that over there. Or we can do it over here. I don't
Which saw are you using?
I'm gonna use this 261.
I think you could do it with the baby saw.
I probably can.
I think I can do it with a hand saw.
But I can show the.
Can you do some trees with that one and some trees with this one, since that's the pro model of this?
Yeah. I was gonna check it to make sure. They're probably gonna need to be sharpened because I've been out of town and they've been running them. So you know.
That's what I would say too.
Oh yeah, I only sharpened the one while we did all that ground cutting.
Yeah.
Spend more time.
Well, it looks like we're going to do a sharpening class first. So I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Probably like I'm saying.